Last day on this, one-step equations. Hopefully you've been trying to master this stuff as you go. This week has allowed us time to view solving equations from different perspectives. We've used modeling to grasp the idea of solving. We've even translated our graphs back to algebraic steps. Remember that you must show proper steps for any credit on any answer. Alright, so today what we're going to do is look at the second part of solving, which is checking our solutions. Recall last chapter when we were asked to evaluate a given value for a variable. When they would say something like evaluate 5x plus 3 when x equals negative 4. And we would change that x into a negative 4 using parentheses and then work our way through it. Order of operations would say multiply first. 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. And then of course if you want to know what negative 20 plus 3 is, negatives win by 17, and that would be your answer. Either way, that's not what you're going to see exactly just yet, but we are going to apply this method to our work in solving. So now whenever we find a solution, at least for today and for the quiz tomorrow, we will use that solution to see if it actually works. So let's look at some examples. Again, don't write these just yet. You're just watching to make sure you understand what I am going to be doing or having you do in just a second. So we know how to solve and check. I'm going to go a little bit faster on the solving because we've seen these before. We have x plus 35 equals 27, which we move this 35 by subtracting 35 from both sides. That cancels. X comes down with negative 8. Again, please ask if you don't understand what I did so I can pause it and try to explain it. But again, this is something we've been doing all week, so I am going to move just a little bit. The computer today is going to ask you to check it, and all that means is go back to your original equation and turn your x into a negative 8. And you just simply plug it in. So notice you have x, which is now negative 8, plus 35 equals 27. Make sure that actually works by typing it in. Negative 8 plus 35 equals, notice that you get 27 equals 27. Because both of those things match, that means the solution actually works, and we did it right. That's what checking is. And you want to make sure you get your checking now because you're going to be checking some longer solutions and you're going to want to have this process down. Negative 34 equals x over 12. This is division here. And remember, the way we get rid of division is by multiplying that on both sides. And so we put 12 on top of both. Those two 12s cancel. Though over here we're going to do negative 34 times 12, which is negative 408. And that equals x. Again, that being our answer, now we want to check it. And all you have to do is write it exactly the way it is. So negative 34 equals, instead of x, we're going to put negative 408 over 12. Take your calculator and make sure negative 408 divided by 12 equals what we need it to. And notice that we get the answer of negative 34. So this ends up saying negative 34 equals negative 34, which means that the solution works. And we know that we got our answer right. This is what we are adding in, is the check part today. 273 equals 21x. What we learned yesterday is that this is 21 times x, which we fix by dividing by whatever is attached to x, which is 21. We do our 273 divided by 21 to get our answer of 13. Again, those two things cancel. Once we get that answer, now we come back to our original and we plug 13 in for x. So we write 273 equals 21 parentheses 13. Let's do a real quick check to see what 21 times 13 is. As you see, you get the answer of 273, and so your last line will say 273 equals 273. Again, this is the only new part for the day. The last one has negative 35 plus x equals 91. Again, if you want to do that to draw your wall, x is over here with a negative 35, so we're going to add 35 to both sides. That cancels. X comes down. 91 plus 35 should be our answer, which is 126. And again, once you find that answer, the only thing you're going to add in today is that you go back here and rewrite it, except you're going to turn your x into whatever your number is and make sure it works. So negative 35 plus 126, which does give me 91, equals 91, so therefore it worked out. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is pass out a piece of scratch paper for you to write the next few examples. Take these notes so you have something to use on your Math XL pre-assessment and assignment. You are again taking a pre-assessment so I can see where you stand, and then you're going to have an assignment that you're working on for your in-class credit and other things. So again, just go ahead and take that sheet of paper, write these questions out, and make sure you leave room. And like I said, it's plenty of room for it. It's only 4 questions, but just make sure you are writing down what you're going to actually have on this part. So if you see something like this, x over 26 equals negative 17, of course you probably know we're going to multiply both sides by 26. Those two things cancel out. We end up with x equals negative 442. And then what we do is we take this negative 442 and we plug it into this problem. So negative 442 over 26 equals negative 17. We then take and check. Negative 442 divided by 26, which does give me negative 17 on this side, equals negative 17 on that side. Again, that is where you're going to be adding in those 2 boxes, 2 new pieces of information. Here, negative 288 equals 16x. If you want this answer, we are simply going to divide by 16 because that's 16 times x. Those things cancel. Again, make sure you're asking if there's anything going on you don't understand. But I am not going to keep teaching as if this is the first day. I apologize for that. I think it just takes a longer time and it babies you through it. So if you are lost on that, make sure you're saying something. But either way, negative 288 divided by 16 is negative 18. And the way we check that is by going to our original problem and just plugging in whatever our answer is for x. 16 times negative 18 is negative 288, and as you see, it means that our answer is correct. You will even see decimals, but again, you have a calculator, so it shouldn't be a big deal. Here again, because this is a plus, I'm going to go ahead and use this. Has x plus 17.98. That means we just move a positive 17.98 by putting a negative 17.98 on both sides. Nothing big. And then you just use your calculator programming to type this in. So negative 0.74 plus negative 17.98, which gives us negative 18.72, equals, that cancels, equals x. All you have to do now on the computer is prove it by typing this in. Negative 0.74 equals, that turns into negative 18.72 plus 17.98. You then type that in to make sure, and see what you get. Notice you get 0.74, which is exactly what you're supposed to get, and that is how you check it. Last one before we go to the computer. Again, be sure to stop me if you need me to give you time to write these things. Sorry, I keep forgetting that you're writing, but like I said, I forget that this is me on the class, not me on the computer. X minus 388 equals negative 726. Again, you want to get rid of this negative 388. You got to put a positive 388 on both sides. It's opposite. That cancels. X comes down. Now we need to know what negative 726 plus 388 is, and you get negative 388. And again, to check, which is the only new thing we're doing now, you simply put that in for x, so negative 388 minus 388 equals negative 726. And again, you just do a real quick check to see, and you notice that you do get negative 7. Oh, I messed up there. I put 776. See? That's where things go crazy. Notice that this says 776. That says 726, which means something was wrong. That means I messed up somewhere. It's because I did negative 726. I think I typed that in wrong. It's not 388. That's where my mistake was. It should be 338. And that is why we check. It's a good thing I messed up on this video so you can see why you check. But anyway, that's a negative 338, which now when we type negative 338 minus 388, notice that the answer we get matches the answer we have over here. And again, that is the reason I'm glad I mean, as much as people like to say that I don't like to mess up, I'm glad I messed up there, because that is the reason why you check your answer, so you can make sure that your answer actually works whenever you plug it back in. So please do me a favor, go to your Math Excel, begin work on the assignment titled 2.1 pre-assessment. Again, it's a real quick assessment. I don't need any paper on that, but like I said, just make sure you get that done. After you complete your pre-assessment, please begin working on the Chapter 2.1 review, which is going to get you ready for the quiz tomorrow, because remember, your quiz is on the computer, and so these are the questions you're going to see. Just be sure not to cheat yourself and talk or work together until your pre-assessment is complete. Once the person is done with the pre-assessment and you're done with it, then you can talk and work together and ask questions. But for right now, just make sure you're doing the pre-assessment alone. Again, afterwards, just use the time to practice the skill of solving. And next week we move on to two-step equations, so it's very important that you master the basics before next week shows up. So again, get your computers, go to Math Excel, do the pre-assessment, afterwards do the review, and that'll be our day. Good luck.